Hi, if you follow precious metals like me, you probably noticed gold and palladium has hit all-time highs in 2020, but you might not know why. Let me break down the reasons why gold and palladium have hit all-time highs. I'll start with gold. Gold for millennia has been seen as a safe haven, a storage of wealth. When crises around the world like the 2008 financial crisis happened, investors turned to gold as a safe haven. We have a different crisis in 2020, the coronavirus. The virus has affected many parts of the world's economy. The coronavirus has stopped manufacturing production in many parts of China, including famous companies such as Foxconn, who make a lot of smartphones, console, tablets, etc. we all use. The virus is also affecting manufacturing in other countries. Samsung has temporarily shut down a factory in South Korea. Companies in the US, Europe, around the world are reliant on Chinese manufacturing. For better or worse, we started shifting manufacturing from the West to China in the early 80s. Maybe it's not a good idea to put our eggs in one basket. A distributed manufacturing base around the world might be a better idea after this crisis dies down. However, in the short term it's not viable to do this. Many multinational corporations are deeply entrenched in Chinese manufacturing, making their production difficult to move. Apple last week warned that it expects to fall short of revenue goals this quarter because of stalled iPhone production in China and lower demand from Chinese consumers. Even when factories do open again, factories will need enough raw materials to restore production, enough protective masks to keep workers safe. They'll also need Chinese truckers and functioning ports to ensure that goods can make it to market. The virus is also hitting multinational corporations that sell their goods inside China, where mass quarantines have stalled one of the world's biggest markets. Fast food chains and other retailers such as Starbucks and Domino's Pizzas have closed stores in China or postponed new store openings. Tourism and travel is also being affected. Many parts of China and northern Italy look like ghost towns. Italy's coronavirus lockdown shows how the outbreak is testing Western democracies. Earlier this month, more than 690 passengers on Carnival cruise liners Diamond Princess were quarantined for 2 weeks in Yokohama in Japan after testing positive for the virus. These outbreaks have placed the $45 billion cruise line industry in peril, as the virus is forcing companies like Royal Caribbean and Carnival to cancel trips and adjust itineraries. Before the coronavirus outbreak, the cruise industry was increasingly targeting the Chinese market, increasing the number of cabins from about 4 million to 5 million, thinking business would expand 20 to 30%. That's mostly the Chinese market, using Hong Kong and Macau as bases. Coronavirus has led to a 15% decline in business due to people cancelling trips or they're just not booking. Understandably, people don't want to be trapped in a prison ship for 2 weeks. Also, when people travel, they spend money at restaurants, shops, excursions, taxis, etc. The knock-on effect of less tourism and travel will affect many sectors of the economy. The effects of the coronavirus will carry well into 2021. In the Asian continent alone, leisure and business travel contributed $884 billion to the gross domestic product in 2017. Stocks have tumbled globally after reports that the coronavirus outbreaks were increasing outside China, reaching South Korea and Italy amongst other countries. The realization that global economic growth could well come to a halt as the effects of the coronavirus across the globe raises the prospect consumers stop spending and supply chains seize up due to workers and consumers staying at home. Over the last 12 months, the consumer has been carrying the global economy, helping in the process to push stock markets up to the recent records. Now that politicians have started to close borders, impose restrictions on movement, as well as impose quarantine, investors appear to be preparing the ground for the inevitable profit and revenue downgrades that are likely to appear in the coming weeks and months. Just look at the chart of the FTSE 100 and Dow Jones to see the impact it's already had. Here is the chart for Carnival plc, a cruise line operator, and Foxconn, as I mentioned earlier, the manufacturer of many electrical goods we take for granted. All have been affected by the coronavirus outbreak. As manufacturing and tourism is hit, revenues and profits of companies will fall, and thus stock prices will fall. When this happens, investors turn to the safe haven of gold, hence why gold has hit its all-time high. Just look at these charts. Palladium is not an investor metal, but an industrial metal. So I doubt investors will be buying palladium as a safe haven in the way they do with gold. As covered in a previous video, I've included a link in the description and I'll include a link at the end of the video. Palladium is heavily used in catalytic converters of cars. With the disgrace of Dieselgate, the demand for palladium primarily used in petrol catalytic converters skyrocketed. Thanks Volkswagen. But as the supply of palladium was low anyway, with few countries such as Russia having stockpiles of palladium, the price of palladium spiraled out of control. As if this wasn't bad enough, financial speculators have been ramping up the price of this precious metal for the last 4 years. However, the rise in sales of electric vehicles which do not produce exhaust gases will eventually reduce the demand for both palladium and platinum with time. I don't personally expect palladium to sell at over £2,100 an ounce for much longer, and it will eventually crash to sub £1,000 an ounce mark. I personally don't hold any palladium, but with the bargain basement price of platinum, it might be worthwhile buying some platinum bars and coins instead. I personally only own silver and a small amount of gold. So there you have it, some reasons why gold and palladium are so expensive in 2020. What do you think? Add your thoughts to the comments section. I don't buy it. Okay, maybe a little when I'm peckish like now. I'm going to have brunch now. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.